Hey guys, it's Paradise, and if you've been following the channel for a while, you'll know that we love Monster Hunter stories. So when Capcom sent us over an early code to preview the new remaster of the original Monster Hunter stories, it was music to our ears. You see, I didn't play Stories 1 on release, but instead tried it out on iOS in the run-up to Stories 2 releasing. I wanted to get the gist of the game before playing the sequel, and honestly, I loved it back then. It's fair to say that Stories 2 blew us away and was an amazing game, so with Stories 1 getting the remaster treatment, we were very excited. This remaster really brings a breath of life to the original, which is already a well-loved RPG, but does a great job at blending what made the original so great and its charm, but with its modern enhancements. I think this version is really well stanced for both newcomers to the story series, but also veterans looking for a trip down nostalgia lane with the extra enhancements that come along with it. This new version of Monster Hunter Stories includes significantly upgraded textures, adding extra detail to an already very nice and vibrant world. And remember, the original Monster Hunter Stories was a 3DS game from 2016, and I think it looks great with these improvements. The looks of the game are further enhanced with its better lighting and shadow effects, creating an overall more modern and more immersive feel. Character models and monster models are also noticeably sharper and more defined with better animations, which in general is a theme across the whole world and its various environments as you progress. The monsters are specifically updated to more so align their modern appearances, and this coupled with the game's enhanced resolution makes the whole thing just visually better and more appealing, especially if you like Stories 2 and the overall story's aesthetic. Speaking of the character models, as this is the first game of the series, many of the characters in this cross over into Stories 2. So if you actually missed out on this game before but did enjoy Stories 2, there's a lot of familiar faces, and you get that extra backstory for many of these major characters, making it a really great way to dive deeper into the lore of these people and the world, like Cheval and Avinia. Perhaps one of the most impactful differences though is the faster load speeds, and this is releasing on PC, Nintendo Switch and PlayStation, and personally, I played it on PC. It's more optimized for modern hardware, so quicker loading times is of course a nice touch, and I don't really have the patience I used to for those games that now have really slow load speeds. There is, however, the occasional stutter in FPS, and this usually happens in battles. It isn't too bad, but it was noticeable and did happen from time to time. But then you have the actual story and overall experience, which honestly I would say is very well improved again, with the amount of increased voice dialogue and the overall improved animations in cutscenes. Now, if you did play the original stories, this won't be news to you, but if you haven't, you should know that the game is quite slow-paced to start with, and the entire first two zones are very much like the game's tutorial, and you won't have all of the game's features unlocked, and there isn't a lot of monster variety in your party up until this point. Now, I do actually think this is fair because this was the first game in the Stories franchise, so they had to introduce all the new mechanics and the overall way the game plays. So it's probably like this to ease players into things, but if you have now played Stories 2, it will probably feel a bit slow to begin with. I do remember the original was like this, so really it's just true to the base game. Once, however, you reach the third zone, things open up significantly in offering more diverse monsters, larger spaces to explore, you can finally start actually crafting your own weapons and armor, and then upgrade them. So this is where the game really picks up and becomes really fun. When it comes to actually making your character, there was a really good amount of character customization options, so you can really make something different. To be honest, I was surprised by how good this was, remembering it started off as a 3DS game, but I don't exactly remember if all of these options were in the original or if extras have been added in, I just can't remember. But either way, it's a good amount of options to make a character that you're happy with, and to be honest, I was quite pleased with it. I also love the flexibility of being able to change your appearance anytime when you go back to your house in-game. The UI is also improved and streamlined, resembling the more user-friendly Stories 2 UI, and I enjoyed that familiarity. I'm pretty sure the original did have multiple save slots, and that's present here too, so you can have multiple playthroughs if you want. Just be careful when saving your game and make sure to overwrite the correct one. I also want to shout out the museum mode, which is pretty cool. It gives you a deeper look into the behind the scenes and development of the overall world, and you can listen to some of the game's music, look at different versions of its key art, see insights into character development, as well as developer sketches, and just overall there's a bunch of cool extra details in here. It's of course no secret that I'm a fan of Monster Hunter Stories, but I would like to say if you enjoy turn-based combat and just general creature collecting mechanics, this is a blast. It's a real no-brainer if you liked Stories 2, and it's probably the best way to experience Stories 1 over the original. You just really need to know that it does take a while to open up, and crafting your own gear takes a bit longer than would be expected, and you kind of do need to do side quests, especially at the blacksmith, to actually power up and progress. The side quests actually play a more crucial role in the game. They serve often as a primary source of money, they give you extra rewards like crafting recipes that you really want, and even weapon scrolls that literally give you additional skills. So get ready to really play the various content in the game if you want to get the most out of it. And for me, I'm having a real blast. The game feels like a comprehensive update to the original, providing an overall more rich and polished experience. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this preview and impressions of the new Monster Hunter Stories Remaster, and for now, I'm going to jump back in the game. So, we'll see you guys next time, and make sure to subscribe down below for more daily gaming videos, news and guides.